Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at HIMS.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to HIMS.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Maybe you know me. Heck, maybe you are me. I'm a double full-time dad, and in the last 7 years, I've relaxed 6 times. A dad by morning, engineer by day, dad by night, and all weekend. Am I a hero? No. Does my shower provide me with the best smelling break of my day? Absolutely, which is why my soap matters. Some folks say I earn my clean. Frankly, I agree.
Get out there and earn your clean with Duke Cannon.
This is Joe and Q.
That's how LeBron has to approach it. Every single year he plays has to be about winning a championship. In year 23, yeah, he's not worried about building for the future, but the Lakers as an organization, they do have the responsibility to set this team up for success long term, and they made that move for Luka. Clearly it wasn't just a one-year rental, but how do you keep both sides happy? It's very difficult to win now and prepare for the future.
Joe and Q, weekdays at noon on 1050 ESPN, New York.
Remember the 90s? The sights, smells, and sounds? Like the sound of slurping down an ice pop at your backyard birthday party? A little too quickly? Then slurping down another one because mom got that 90s price value pack. Well, thanks to Instacart, this summer can sound like that again. Get 47.2% off $10 orders of select 90s faves, so you can summer like it's 1999 with prices from 1999. $4.72 maximum discount per $10 of eligible items. Expires September 5th while supplies last. Discount based on CPI comparison.
Out here, it's not only the amazing views, but the way time stretches out a little longer. How laughter bellows louder among friends, and how the breeze hits just right at the summit. With All Trails, you can discover and experience the best of nature, with over 450,000 trails worldwide and navigation right at your fingertips. Find your outside with All Trails. Download the free app today and find your next outdoor adventure.
50 ESPN New York. The biggest names and the biggest games. WEPN New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Coming up on SportsCenter all night. A new coach for the Knicks.
I asked him when he first talked to him, I was like, man, there's a lot of pressure that comes with this job. This is a different kind of job. He said, I love it. I want this. And so I think the Knicks, they're getting somebody where all the laughing is stopping.
The free agency frenzy continues in the NBA.
The Lakers have found their big man, their center, after 2 days into free agency. And now they have the number 1 and number 3 pick from the 2018 NBA draft with DeAndre Ayton and Luka Doncic.
Can the Rockies make it 20?
Breaking pitch, club, deep to right field, and she's gone.
The Marlins look to continue the streak.
Lines this one to the left side of the diamond, through for a base hit. Castro will score. Lee stops at second.
From the worldwide headquarters of ESPN, this is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jay Reynolds.
Threshold met. SportsCenter all night. ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM channel 80. There are certain stats in Major League Baseball that are milestones. 500 home runs, 3,000 hits, 300 wins. And speaking of pitchers, 3,000 strikeouts right up there as well. Going into Wednesday, there were just 19 pitchers all time who had entered the 3,000 strikeout club. Of those 19, just 4 did it with one franchise until Wednesday. In L.A., Dodgers hosting the White Sox. Clayton Kershaw starting the night with 2,997 strikeouts. In the top of the third, Miguel Vargas strikes out swinging, number 2,998. Top of the fifth, Lenyn Sosa strikes out swinging. There's number 2,999. An inning later, 2 outs in the sixth.
Better than 50,000 on their feet at Dodger Stadium. 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. There it is. He got him with a slider. Strikeout number 3,000 for Clayton Kershaw. History at Dodger Stadium.
Final pitch of a prolonged start for Kershaw. 6 innings, 100 pitches, but he does get number 3,000. Leaves after 6, but got to see a pretty decent ending, at least for L.A.
He swings, and it's a base hit to right. Ohtani around third. He comes to the plate. Dodgers win. Dodgers win. The 15th career walk-off hit for Freddie Freeman, and the Dodgers come all the way back to win it 5-4.
AM 570 LA Sports comes on a night. Freddie Freeman ends it with a walk-off, and Clayton Kershaw becomes just the 5th pitcher in baseball history to have 3,000 strikeouts with one team. The other 4, Walter Johnson, Bob Gibson, Steve Carlton, and John Smoltz. And Kershaw is just the 4th lefty to reach the milestone, along with lefty Steve Carlton, Randy Johnson, and CC Sabathia as well.
Honestly, didn't pitch that great tonight. Slider was so bad, but this was such a special night all the way around. It really was. Couldn't have asked for anything more, really. It just was. It was so fun to get to be out there, and you know, after the 5th, thankfully I got 1 strikeout in the 5th, so it was only 1 that I needed left, and it's a little bit harder when you're actually trying to strike people out. I've never really had to do that before. It was hard. You give the White Sox credit too; they didn't make it easy on me at all. So it was a tough night all the way around. But what a way to end it with Freddie coming up clutch there, and yeah, just to see the fans' reaction, and you know, running back out there for the 6th and hearing that crowd roar was up there for me in special moments. It really was. So just super thankful for tonight. Super thankful for my teammates. I told my teammates, individual awards are great, but if you don't have anybody to celebrate with, it's just, it doesn't matter.
Kershaw, career strikeout number 3,000 on Wednesday. Already an impressive resume, of course. He's got an MVP, 3 Cy Young Awards, and he's a 10-time All-Star. Speaking of All-Stars, starting rosters are out for the Midsummer Classic. Seemingly a no-brainer, but Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh will be in the starting lineup for the American League, as will Rookie of the Year candidate Jacob Wilson of the Athletics. Cal Raleigh, 33 homers so far this season, Major League leading 71 RBI. The 23-year-old Wilson, the lone rookie in either league to be voted into the starting lineup. He's hitting .339 thus far, second best in all of baseball. His father, Jack, was an All-Star for the Pirates in 2004. Wilson, first rookie shortstop to win an All-Star fan election and just the second to start an All-Star game after Baltimore's Ron Hansen, who started both games in 1960. Tigers have 3 players in the starting lineup. Second baseman Gleyber Torres, outfielders Riley Green and Javier Baez. Rounding out the starting lineup for the American League, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from Toronto, Cleveland, third baseman Jose Ramirez, Baltimore DH Ryan O'Hearn, and Aaron Judge from the Yankees. He was the top vote getter in the American League in Phase 1. The National League has 3 starters from the Dodgers. First baseman Freddie Freeman, who had the walk-off hit on Wednesday. Catcher Will Smith. DH Shohei Ohtani, who scored on Freeman's hit on Wednesday. Ohtani receiving the most votes among National League players during Phase 1. Joining them, Arizona second baseman Ketel Marte, San Diego third baseman Manny Machado, Mets shortstop Francisco Lindor. He's named an All-Star starter for the first time. So was Cubs outfielder Pete Crow Armstrong and his teammate Kyle Tucker, who gets his 4th nod. And speaking of the Cubs,
Ivy a long set. He rocks back. Here's the 2-2. Seiya chops one up the middle. Off the glove of the shortstop, Rocchio. Shaw's in, around third, racing home. Tucker. Cubs take the lead. Seiya Suzuki comes through, and it's now 4-3. Cubs over the Guardians here in the 4th.
Cubs Radio Network 5-4. The final. Cubs get the win over Cleveland. Pete Crow Armstrong, consecutive multi-hit games for the first time since mid-May.
It's been it's been a tough schedule that we've had the last couple of weeks, and I think we've done really well with the travel and the weather and everything. And I think we like what we're doing right now, and we're all trusting in our work. And last 2 games you've seen that work do us justice. And I mean, if we can go finish the first half with a winning record, then I mean, we're going to go play the same baseball that we know how to play and play it well the second half.
And for you, personally, kind of a big day. First time All-Star, you'll be starting for the National League. What is that like to hear that it's actually happened and you're finally getting the call to that game?
Gosh, I mean, that's what you think about as a little kid. It's part of what you shoot for, I feel like, every year as you try to get better. But I think this year what's so obvious to me just in my day is how easy it's felt sometimes just being around this group. Because, I mean, people that were here last year, back in 23 when I debuted, everybody has had a really big hand in the growth that you've kind of seen from me. And being able to share a starting spot in that outfield with Tuck is so special. So I'm just excited to see what other Cubbies get plucked for Atlanta.
For PCA, he's a first-time All-Star. There are 9 first-time starters for the second time in 3 years. The All-Star game coming up July 15th in Atlanta. You'll, of course, hear it here on ESPN Radio. Right now, Sports Center all night. Cal Raleigh did not homer on Wednesday. His teammate did.
The 3-2. Swung on, crossed, center field. Isbell back. He's at the wall. He's looking up. It is gone. Randy Arozarena strikes again. And this game is tied. It's the Mariners 1. It's the Royals 1.
1-1 in the 6th. The tie that would be broken an inning later on a Julio Rodriguez infield single that put Seattle in front. They wind up winning at 3-2. Seattle Sports 7:10 a.m. Rodriguez with the go-ahead single in the 7th. First RBI in his last 5 games. Arozarena, meanwhile, his 12th home run, 4th in the last 3 games after none in the 17 prior to that. While we're hearing about home runs, you put 3 men on for Matt Olson, and good things seem to happen.
And the pitch. Swung on, high drive, deep right field. Go ball, headed for the chop house. Gone! A bouncer off the bricks and into the chop house. How about another grand slam home run for the Braves?
680 The Fan, Matt Olson with the grand slam. Only player in Major League Baseball with a grand slam in each of the last 6 seasons. He's reached base in 32 straight games, longest active streak in Major League Baseball. Braves go on to an 8-3 win over the Angels. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio.
LeBron's time in Los Angeles is coming to an end. That is become clear in the last couple of days.
He's not going anywhere. Like, I will tell you this straight up first. I know LeBron James.
I am telling you, I feel more so today that there is a chance he gets traded than ever before.
LeBron James this week opting into his $56 million player option with the Lakers. Seemed to come with a caveat, though. His agent telling ESPN, quote, "We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage of his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count." One of the things folks have been keeping an eye on was the Lakers roster and the need for a center. Wednesday, on the heels of being bought out by the Blazers, DeAndre Ayton agrees to a contract in L.A. with the Lakers. The deal reportedly 2 years, $16.5 million. ESPN insider Shams Charania.
Once that buyout happened on Sunday night, it shocked the NBA. For a player of this caliber, former #1 overall pick, to be on the open market, this is a great get for the Lakers in terms of the price. The question is, again, does it take them over the top? Does it make them a true title contender? But it's a 2-year deal, player option on year 2. They found their big man. They found their starter at center. There were a multitude of teams that had interest in him, the Clippers, the Pacers, the Nuggets. He goes to L.A., and this gives them the #1 and #3 pick from that 2018 NBA draft in DeAndre Ayton and Luka Doncic. They get that somewhat of a lob threat defensive anchor, but they know they need DeAndre Ayton to play even better now in L.A. because this team around Luka Doncic, LeBron James, they're trying to build to compete for a championship. Today was a step in that direction, getting a center like DeAndre Ayton.
Ayton will earn $33.7 million this season, $8.1 from his Lakers salary, plus just over $25.5 from his buyout in Portland. From the West Coast to the East Coast, and the Knicks, they're expected to hire 2-time NBA Coach of the Year Mike Brown as their next head coach. Quite the thorough process since the firing of Tom Thibodeau a month ago. Knicks requested permission to speak with 5 NBA head coaches, and they were denied each time. Interviewed a number of available coaches, went through multi-round stages with candidates, and they settle on Mike Brown. Christian Winfield from the New York Daily News earlier on ESPN Radio.
This is a guy who's dealt with all the biggest types of stars, right? This is a guy who coached Kobe, who coached LeBron, Steph Curry, KD. You need a guy who's going to be able to come in there, gain respect to your stars, but also a guy who's had this different type of experience, right? We're talking about a guy who coached LeBron to the NBA Finals. I know Tibbs is a guy who came here, changed the culture, right? And he made it fun to be a Knicks fan, fun to play for the Knicks again. But when you just look at the shortcomings year over year, a guy who doesn't go deep into his bench and develop the young players, this is something that Mike Brown has made a name on, right? You can just look at the Kings roster right now. It's got guys like Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis who got drafted to Sacramento and became real contributors there. I don't know that same level of development happens with a different head coach, right? So you're bringing in Mike Brown to really revamp the offense. The offense last year was so ISO heavy that you got guys who aren't getting the ball, who are just going stretches on stretches without a shot or a touch. Hoping to see, just a little more balanced offense.
Mike Brown, four-time NBA champion as a top assistant with the Warriors and Spurs, with Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich, fired by the Kings as their head coach in December after starting 13-18 to start the season, despite leading the franchise to its first playoff berth in 16 seasons in 2023. ESPN insider Brian Windhorst.
He sort of emerged from their process. He had multiple visits to New York. He met with their entire front office that came back and met with owner James Dolan before this decision was reached. And here's what you have to understand about Mike Brown. He has one of the most varied resumes of anybody in the profession. He has coached under Greg Popovich. He has coached under Rick Carlisle. He has coached under Steve Kerr. He was the head coach for LeBron James. He was the head coach for Kobe Bryant. There have been times in his career where he's coached the #1 defense in the league. When he won Coach of the Year for the second time 2 years ago with the Kings, he coached the #1 offense in the league. So he has a very long career. He has seen many different things. He's had many different challenges. He's had many successes, and he's had a few failures. He's been fired a number of times. But he is going to be taking over a team that is very accomplished. This is a strong job. This is a great job, really. I know that the way they ended it with Tom Thibodeau made it seem like it was a bit of a hairy situation, but this is a great job. It is a built-out team that are among the favorites in the East.
We all know it. The Knicks, their minds are set on a championship. Now, Mike Brown has not won an NBA championship as a head coach. However, what says that he's the guy to get them there?
I think his big challenge is the Knicks have several guys on their roster who have defensive challenges. And so the challenge for whoever takes over this team is to have a system that protects the players' weaknesses. And so Mike Brown, that's his big thing. And I'm sure his ideas and his thoughts on how to make that work were a heavy part of the interview process, because the Knicks are heavily involved and heavily invested in Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Those were the players that the Pacers attacked on defense. So how he would go about that, his ideas for what maybe needs to do with the roster and those things, were how he got through this interview process.
Brown led the Cavs to the NBA Finals in 2007, although Cleveland was swept by the Spurs in 4. Knicks, of course, lost to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals this season, haven't reached the NBA Finals since 1999, haven't won a title since 73. So there have been reactions to the hiring of Mike Brown on both ends of the spectrum. Here's our Stephen A. Smith.
Well, I respect the hell out of Mike Brown. I will honestly tell you it lacks sizzle, but certainly not credentials. I mean, he's a 4-time champion as an assistant coach. He achieved those rings by working under two of the greatest coaches the game has ever seen in Greg Popovich and Steve Kerr. On top of all of that, he's a 2-time Coach of the Year, 2009 in Cleveland and obviously a couple of years back in Sacramento. He's coached the team to an NBA Finals, which is what he did with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then when you combine all of that with the fact that he's won 60% of his games and he guided the Sacramento Kings to their first playoff berth in 16 years after a 16-year absence, which was an NBA record at the time, you can't sit up there and question the credentials of this hire. Mike Brown is qualified as a head coach in the NBA circles. He deserves this opportunity. It's just that obviously when you just came within 2 games of an NBA Finals and you decide to let go of your coach, that is Tom Thibodeau, you're expecting a bigger name.
The bar is set high in New York. We've seen this final before. That's next. SportsCenter All Night continues at ESPN Radio.
Sunday on ESPN Radio.
Heated rivals face off at Wrigley when the Cubs welcome the Cardinals.
Kyle Tucker adds an exclamation mark.
Then the Rangers and Padres face off in San Diego.
Second deck and left for Machado.
Coverage begins Sunday at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. More Sports Center all night. Coming up next.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text KICK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text KICK to 42424. That's KICK to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Maybe you know me. Heck, maybe you are me. I'm a double full-time dad, and in the last 7 years, I've relaxed 6 times. A dad by morning, engineer by day, dad by night, and all weekend. Am I a hero? No. Does my shower provide me with the best smelling break of my day? Absolutely, which is why my soap matters. Some folks say I earn my clean. Frankly, I agree.
Get out there and earn your clean with Duke Cannon.
Is Freddie and Harry on 1050 ESPN.
Would I take Prime Rodgers over Prime Patrick Mahomes? Maybe just a little bit. But I think Patrick Mahomes' prime will last a little bit longer than Aaron Rodgers' prime when it's all said and done. But the one thing he will not have over Patrick Mahomes, he's been less than prime in the playoffs against inferior quarterbacks when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry. Weekdays at 3 on 1050 ESPN.
I've never felt like this before. It's like you just get me. I feel like my true self with you. Does that sound crazy? And it doesn't hurt that you're gorgeous. Okay, that's it. I'm taking you home with me. I mean, you can't find shoes this good just anywhere. Find a shoe for every you from brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, and more at your DSW store or DSW.com.
It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains squeezed. If your business can't adapt in real time, you're in a world of hurt. You need total visibility, from global shipments to tariff impacts to real-time cash flow. That's NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. Trusted by over 41,000 businesses, NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for many reasons. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one suite. You have one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. And with AI embedded throughout, you can automate a lot of those everyday tasks. NetSuite helps you know what's stuck, what's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook Navigating Global Trade: 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/special. That's netsuite.com/special.
Weekdays from noon to 3 on 1050 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
You're listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center all night, presented by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. Football. A couple of neighbors going at it for the Gold Cup final. Mexico, a 1-0 win over Honduras. Their 4th consecutive Gold Cup final appearance. They won the title in 2019 and 2023 over that span. Mexico advancing to their 12th Gold Cup final. The only one with more finals appearances, the U.S. with 13. And number 13 will be against Mexico because the U.S. advances with a 2-1 semifinal win over Guatemala. Diego Luna, 2 goals in the 4th and 15th minute en route to the 2-1 win. ESPN analyst Herculez Gomez.
This is a massive victory for this U.S. men's national team, a very young squad of domestic-based players, MLS players. 15 of the 26 play in Major League Soccer. Most of them no appearances or a few appearances with the full national team against a very, very good Guatemalan national team that's making history. The first time they've been back to semifinals of the Gold Cup in 29 years. They were playing with house money, a pro-Guatemalan crowd. And Diego Luna, with his 2 goals, took the crowd out of the game, and they did what they needed to do, even though it wasn't pretty.
U.S. and Mexico in the final. It'll be the 8th meeting between the two in the Gold Cup final. In the previous 7, Mexico has 5 wins. The U.S. has 2. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Back to the diamond because of rain on Tuesday. Mother Nature giving us a handful of doubleheaders on Wednesday, like the Brewers and Mets.
3-1. And a fly ball down the left field line. Back at the track. It is gone. Joey Ortiz. Big fly for a grand slam in New York. And the Brewers lead it 6-2. First career grand slam for Joey.
First career grand slam, but 4th homer in his last 6 games. He had 2 homers in his first 77 this season. The call on 620 WTMJ. Brewers in Game 1 against the Mets with a 7-2 win. As for Game 2,
here's the first pitch. Nimmo hits it high in the air, deep to right field, down the line, near the wall. Frelick back, gone, grand slam. Brandon Nimmo jumps all over the first pitch from Jacob Misiorowski, and the Mets have a 4-0 lead here in the 2nd inning. 1-2 pitch, hit deep to right center. This ball's going out. Frelick back for a look. It's into the bullpen. Home run, Francisco Lindor. A grand slam for Nimmo, followed by Lindor's 17th home run of the year. And now it's the Mets who put up a 5-run inning. 5-0 New York here in the 2nd.
As is so often the case with back-to-back home runs, the 2nd one being a solo shot. 880 ESPN New York. Mets earn a split with a 7-3 win in Game number 2. As for the twin bill with the Tigers and the Nationals.
The 2-2. Swinging a fly ball center field. This one's deep. Young going back, looking up. Gone! Another 2-homer game for Riley Green. Another 3-run home run. He's on fire right now. 21st home run of the year. He's got 69 RBIs. 10-0 Tigers in the 4th.
6 RBI in Game 1 on Wednesday. 21 home runs total. Tigers an 11-2 win over the Nationals in Game 1 of their doubleheader. 97 won the ticket with the call. Game 2, Nationals had a 9-4 lead in the 9th inning when Washington took out a little bit of leather.
Fastball driven in the air to deep center field. Back goes Jacob Young to the wall. He climbs the wall, and he caught it. Oh, my goodness. He robbed him of a home run. Do you believe it? Jacob Young with a spectacular catch. Climbed the wall and robbed Green of a home run. He brought it back.
Dave Jagler on the Nationals Radio Network. Nationals secure a 9-4 win to split the doubleheader. Padres and Phillies also playing 2. Game 1.
1-2 again. The pitch to Machado. Manny swings, rips it over the head of the third baseman, Sosa, and down the left field line. Diaz has scored. Tatis has scored. Merrill is on his way. There will not be a relay. A 3-run double for Manny Machado. And the Padres get a big hit with runners in scoring position. It is now 5-0.
Machado with a double and 3 RBI. He had 2 RBI over his previous 13 games. Padres with a 6-4 win in Game 1. As for Game 2.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Swung on, hit high in the air, deep right field. Tatis looking up, and that ball is gone. Max Kepler with a towering 2-run home run to right field, and the Phillies are in front 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Swung on, hit high in the air, deep right field. Tatis looking up, and that ball is gone. Max Kepler with a towering 2-run home run to right field, and the Phillies are in front 2-1.
Phillies go on to a 5-1 win over the Padres to earn a split of the doubleheader. Sports Radio 94 WIP. They split the doubleheaders, so they win the series. They've won 4 straight series at home, their longest streak. This season, Padres have lost 4 straight road series, longest such streak since 2023. Milestone reached on the diamond. That's next. Sports Center All Night continues at ESPN Radio.
What's up, kiddos? Clinton Yates here. Coming up on Thursday, how much of a problem are injuries in the NBA? We'll examine that and give you an update from Wimbledon. That's Thursday on Clinton and Friends at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Progressive knows there's so many great things about being a sports fan. Like scoring the company box seats. How great is that? Trick plays that actually work. Prevent defense when your team is winning by a lot. And even more preventative prevent defense as they're hanging on by a thread. And of course, saving money when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's pretty great. Just like trick plays that actually work.
Yeah, but how often does that happen?
Complaining about sports. Not so great. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Oh my God, is this your house?
This is the humble abode.
Oh my God, it's so humble.
FX presents Adults.
You don't know your social security number?
No, I do. It's just my mom, knows the whole thing.
A new comedy about 20-somethings achieving zero anythings.
What is the worst that happens?
I go broke. I can't pay my loans. I start an OnlyFans, but only you guys subscribe.
Can't do OnlyFans.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it on there, so sorry.
FX's Adults. Wednesdays on FX. All episodes streaming on Hulu.
This is Clinton and Friends.
The New York Knicks had fired Tom Thibodeau after 5 seasons for reasons that I'm still just not sure I understand. I don't like this move from a just plain karma standpoint. Thibodeau's the only coach in Knicks history to improve the team's win percentage in 3 successive seasons. The only one.
Don't miss Clinton and Friends. Weekdays from 10 to noon on 1050 ESPN. New York.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Maybe you know me. Heck, maybe you are me. I'm a double full-time dad, and in the last 7 years, I've relaxed 6 times. A dad by morning, engineer by day, dad by night, and all weekend. Am I a hero? No. Does my shower provide me with the best-smelling break of my day? Absolutely, which is why my soap matters. Some folks say I earn my clean. Frankly, I agree.
Get out there and earn your clean with Duke Cannon.
Neighbors, it's time to live more and worry less with Hartford Healthcare Go Health Urgent Care. Kid-friendly? Yep. Caring team members from Hartford Healthcare? Absolutely. Convenient hours? You bet, including nights, weekends, and holidays too. So go ahead, do more of what you love. And when life takes an unexpected turn, just save your spot or walk into any nearby Hartford Healthcare Go Health Urgent Care Center. Hartford Healthcare Go Health Urgent Care. Live a little, because we care a lot.
Games, the biggest games. They're all right here. This is 1050 ESPN, New York.
You're listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center all night, taking you to 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman each weekday morning with Unsportsmanlike, 6 to 10 Eastern, here on ESPN Radio.
Half-hour headlines on Sports Center all night.
U.S. and Mexico with semifinal wins on Wednesday. They'll meet in the final of the Gold Cup. Mike Brown will be the new coach for the Knicks in New York. Clayton Kershaw reaching a milestone in what turns out to be a walk-off night for the Dodgers.
He swings, and it's a base hit to right. Ohtani around third. He comes to the plate. Dodgers win. Dodgers win. The 15th career walk-off hit for Freddie Freeman, and the Dodgers come all the way back to win it 5-4 on a special night at Dodger Stadium, where a sellout crowd witnessed Clayton Kershaw's
3,000th strikeout. And Freddie Freeman, with a walk-off hit, gives the Dodgers their 55th win of the season.
AM 570 LA Sports, 5-4 the final. Dodgers' 7th walk-off win this season, tied for the second most in baseball. They'd lost 80 straight home games when trailing by multiple runs entering the 9th inning. They get the win over the White Sox, 5-4. And as you heard, Clayton Kershaw reaches a milestone.
Better than 50,000 on their feet at Dodger Stadium. 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. There it is. He got him with a slider. Strikeout number 3,000 for Clayton Kershaw. History at Dodger Stadium.
He reaches 3,000 on his 100th and final pitch of the night. He's the 20th pitcher in big league history to reach 3,000 strikeouts, first with the Dodgers, and 5th player overall to reach 3,000 strikeouts with a single team. The 100 pitches that he threw on Wednesday, the most he's had in a game since 2023. But as for reaching the milestone of 3,000 strikeouts, ESPN analyst Xavier Scruggs.
You're not going to see guys going the length. Obviously, recovery has become so important, and it's not just in baseball. It's in so many other sports, right? We're seeing the same thing, especially in the NBA, guys taking games off and whatnot. But I think one thing that you can appreciate is someone who's done it for a long period of time. Longevity is not easy to have as a pitcher in this game, especially as a left-handed pitcher who will be in the Hall of Fame. So it goes back to one of your earlier statements about appreciating greatness right now, and that's something that we'll see and may not see it for a very long period of time unless this game changes. When the trade deadline comes, not a lot of these teams are going to be willing to sell. They're not going to be willing to trade some of their better players because a lot of them still have an opportunity, especially when you look at the wild card and you talking about your Reds who are only 2.5 games out from a wild card spot. There's a lot of teams still in that mix, and I think the disparity in the league allows for us to have a better product as well. I think it's more exciting for fans that may traditionally not be so much into the season during this time, still look at their team and say, man, we right in this thing. We can still win the division, and I think that's really cool to see, and that you're starting to see teams, you know, notoriously who don't spend as much money also looking to bring in free agents as well that have made their teams much better.
And that's why milestones can make fans stay engaged. Of course, a team like the Dodgers picking up win number 55 on the season with their walk-off win on Wednesday. The aforementioned Reds that Xavier Scruggs mentioned lose to the Red Sox 5-3 in the resumption of Tuesday's game that had been suspended due to rain. The game resumed in the 4th inning with the Red Sox leading 2-1. Red Sox go on to the 5-4 win in that one, and then the Reds take the regularly scheduled game, doubling up Boston 8-4. Reds only team in baseball that hasn't been swept in a series this season. Back to Kershaw's 3,000th strikeout. There was a more somber moment before the Dodgers walked that one off. Third baseman Max Muncy came down hard on his left knee, had to be helped off the field. Came with one out in the 6th inning. Muncy jumped to catch a throw from catcher Will Smith, tagged out Chicago's Michael A. Taylor on an attempted steal, but then immediately clutched his left knee, had to be helped from the field. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Giants and Diamondbacks wound up going 10 innings.
And the 1-0. There's a swing and a drive. Right field. We are tied. There's your all-star slider, and he just hammered this ball.
Edel Marte, game-tying 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th for Arizona, tied the game at 5. Arizona Sports 98-7, so it would be on to the 10th for them.
Naylor is now at first. He's holding the runner on as Bailey swings, hits a fly ball deep left center field. This should be plenty deep enough. Back is Thomas. He'll make the catch. Tagging at third, Lee, heading home, and he'll score without a throw. And the Giants have reclaimed the lead at 6-5.
6-5 would be the final. KNBR with the call. Giants' 20th one-run win this season. That's the most in Major League Baseball. They've played in a Major League leading 36 one-run games overall. They've won 20 of them. 6-5 the final over Arizona on Wednesday. We did have a streak continue, just not the win streak for the Marlins.
Another big spot for Correa. Lines this one to the left side of the diamond. Through for a base hit. Castro will score. Lee stops at second. RBI single. Carlos Correa. And the Twins retake the lead. It's 2-1.
2-1 would be the final as they beat the Marlins. Treasure Island Baseball Network. Marlins 8-game win streak comes to an end. They were one shy of matching their longest win streak in franchise history. Pirates with another shutout. They beat the Cardinals with a 5-0 win. Active streak of 31 straight scoreless innings by Pittsburgh pitching. Second longest streak in team history. They had 35 straight in June of 2015. They're the third team this season to go 30 or more scoreless innings at any point. Cardinals outscored 13-0 in the 3-game series in Pittsburgh. Second time in the last 45 years the Cardinals were shut out in a series of at least 3 games. Speaking of shutouts, Rangers and Orioles.
First pitch to Simeon. He cranks one up the alley left center field. Cowser and Mullins go after it. That one's up and out of here. Marcus Simeon. A 3-run home run. And the Rangers strike first. And they strike big here in the bottom of the third.
Rangers were the only ones to strike. It's a 6-0 shutout of Baltimore. 105.3 The Fan. Marcus Simeon with his 9th homer this season, 40 RBI, 6 consecutive seasons with at least 40 before the All-Star break. Corey Seager, 4th homer during a 6-game homestand as well. Orioles' 9th game being shut out this season. Rangers get their 9th shutout this season. Astros a 5-3 win over the Rockies. Jose Altuve, 2 for 5 with a couple of RBI passes. Jeff Bagwell for second on the Astros all-time hit list. Craig Biggio holds the record. Blue Jays and Yankees.
Pitch to Barger. Swing and a deep drive. Center field. Bellinger twisting and turning. Looking at the wall. It is gone. A 3-run homer for Addison Barger. The Blue Jays have scored 5 before Will Warren's gotten anyone out.
Blue Jays would score the first 8 runs of the game, but New York comes back.
Drill to left field. There it goes. See ya. Tie ball game. The Yankees have come all the way back. A 2-run moonshot off the bat of Judge. It's 9-9.
All the way back to tie the game at 9 in the 8th inning. The difference in the game?
And the pitch. Bounces away from Rice. Springer coming home, and the Blue Jays take the lead. Wild pitch by Williams. The changeup yanked down and in. It's 10-9 for Toronto on a prophetic call from Chris LaRue.
And that would be the difference as the Blue Jays go on to an 11-9 win. Blue Jays 22-10 since May 28th, second best in Major League Baseball over that span. The Yankees, meanwhile, with a 7th straight road loss against American League East opponents, their longest road losing streak against the American League East in a single season since 2007. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Back to the NBA and the news out of New York on Wednesday that Mike Brown appears to be the new head coach for the Knicks after New York's exhaustive search for a new head coach, during which they were turned down by 5 teams earlier on ESPN Radio. Our Andre Snellings and Q Myers.
So one thing I know about a coaching search is that when one guy is moved on from, the fan base wants the next guy to be the guy and wants to get fired up about the next guy and wants a reason to get fired up about the next guy. Mike Brown has championships on his resume. He has won in San Antonio. He's won in Golden State as an assistant. Hasn't got it done as the head coach, but is a solid coach. But when you make a move, when you fire your coach, and again, the optics, I mean, regardless of if what Tibbs was doing was sustainable, he still got him to the Eastern Conference Finals. Those are facts, right? Mm-hmm. Those are facts. That's not speculation. Those are facts. He got him to the Eastern Conference Finals. So the optics are that you're going to bring in someone that's going to get you to the next level. And I don't know if anyone's believing that Mike Brown is that guy. He very well could be the better guy for the job. But when you go through these processes, that's not going to be the expectations of anyone.
And I think it's the timing of it, too. If this would have happened after not this past season, but the season before, where the Knicks they got put out of the playoffs because all their players were hurt. Right. And, there was all the talk about Tibbs is wearing his guys down, just wearing them into the ground, and they didn't make it as far as they should have for that reason. Then I think that hiring Mike Brown might have been celebrated.
Yeah, I just don't see the upgrade here. Talk about a lateral movement. That's what I feel like this is at best. Is a lateral movement. I think Tibbs is a really good coach. I think that Mike Brown's a really good coach. I just don't know if he's a difference maker where he's going to put him over the top.
He has more credibility because he's got hardware in his closet to back it up. Yeah, he's not Phil Jackson. Right. He can't say, well, I was the head coach, but he can say, I have been coaching teams that have gotten to where you want to get to. And if you want to get there, you need to listen to me.
I don't dislike Mike Brown as a head coach. I think he's really good. The process is a big part of this whole situation, and that's also going to be part of the situation when it comes to the fan base. Because when you make a move the way that they did it with the sense of urgency, and then you don't have a sense of urgency when you fire a guy, I like Jason Kidd. He was actually my suggestion. He helped the Lakers win a championship, right? I get it. It was the bubble championship, but he did help them do that. He got as an assistant coach, similar to Mike Brown being an assistant with the Warriors and assistant with the Spurs. He also did help the Mavericks get to the finals, and he's a point guard. He's the guy that understands how to get the most out of point guards. So that's why I thought that Jason Kidd and Jalen Brunson would be a great 1-2 punch. Now, to Mike Brown's credit, he is a defensive-minded guy. So Tibbs has kind of built a team that has a defensive mentality as well. Maybe Mike Brown could bring the best out of him. Again, not poo-pooing on the hire, poo-pooing on the process, and it's not the splash hire that any fan is looking for when they make a coaching search. Exactly.
You don't fire a guy until you got the next guy that you want lined up.
Yep.
And to the point you made earlier, they sure didn't seem like they wanted Mike Brown. They wanted, apparently, Jason Kidd. Would it have been a better hire? You can debate that. Right. But the process, it's hard to debate that it certainly looks like optics-wise the Knicks are more settling than going for who they wanted when they urgently fired their head coach.
Knicks made the coaching change a month ago, and now they're settling on Mike Brown after their coaching search. Interviewed a number of candidates. Brown, 4-time champion as a top assistant at Golden State and San Antonio with Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich as well. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio, isotopes, chihuahuas, hot air balloons, a tech startup that wound up making it pretty big. All part of Wednesday's 50 States in 50 Days.
Sports Center all night.
Can we hear it again?
Sports Center all night, rewind.
That's perfect. Play it again.
Yeah. 50 states, 50 days. Today, we are headed to New Mexico.
It's unique, man. Like, you can drive 3 hours and see, like, basically nothing. I mean, it's a
but the landscape is different than it is anywhere else in America.
It is.
Like, it's a very different landscape. Are you ready to learn some facts, Mark?
Yes.
Do you know the capital of New Mexico?
Santa Fe.
Which, by the way, is the highest capital city in the United States, 7,000 feet above sea level.
Very, very fun city.
2.1 million people. That's the population in New Mexico. Not a very dense state with population. The nickname of the state, Myron, Land of Enchantment. Isn't that beautiful?
I like that. That's a fun name.
Microsoft began in a garage in Albuquerque, just like Breaking Bad. Did you know that?
I didn't know about Microsoft. No, I thought it was a West Coast or Seattle, Portland.
I didn't know that was in Albuquerque. The world's largest hot air balloon festival, the International Balloon Fiesta.
That's who we are. It's our signature event. We're so proud of it. We are looking at an Elvis balloon, a cow balloon. There's even Jesus.
So let's talk about the athletes from New Mexico. Ralph Kiner, baseball superstar. Alex Bregman. Ronnie Lott. How about Ronnie Lott?
Ronnie Lott joins us here on Game Night on ESPN.
I'm talking about a place that I lived there for like 4 years. I was born in Albuquerque, and you look back at those moments, I realized that, one of the great things about Albuquerque, New Mexico, is that Tommy Lasorda, the great Tommy Lasorda, was part of the Dodger organization, and they used to play there. And as a kid, knowing that, I used to, try to figure out ways to watch the Albuquerque Dukes So that's kind of one of those moments in my life where, you know, I look back and that experience as a young man and understanding and thinking about baseball and thinking about sports, you know, boy, when I started to put it all together, especially in Albuquerque, that was a great moment.
Minor League Baseball on Wednesday, Isotopes with an 18-5 win over the Chihuahuas. Best sounds from Wednesday. That's next. Sports Center all night at ESPN Radio.
The next chapter in the Subway Series begins on the 4th of July when the Mets face the Yankees.
Judge going back, jumps, and he made the catch.
Then we head to San Diego for the Padres and Rangers. A Major League Baseball 4th of July doubleheader. Coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. More Sports Center all night. Coming up next.
Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Pat Costello, not Mahomes. Go ahead.
So if Mahomes only wins one more title, would we look at it as disappointing?
Stop. Please stop.
Yeah, I would say that's disappointing.
What?
I would say that's disappointing.
Because he's
based on how he started, that would be disappointing. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It'd be disappointing.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings at 6 on 1050 ESPN. Stay on top of the game with the ESPN New York app. Listen live, enter exclusive contests, and enjoy all the play-by-play action.
Jalen Brunson delivers.
Don't miss our must-listen show features. Hear Chris Carlin get Chris'd off with Bart and Carlin.
I don't need that energy.
Listen to an attempt to stump Rothenberg on DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Bang!
Catch Michael K with Hit and Run all week long.
I gotta get more K.
And ENN with Don Hahn and Rosenberg. Download the ESPN New York app today and never miss a moment of your favorite sports.
Gain Super Flings are here to take your laundry to the next level.
Talking about Gain Super Flings. Super-sized laundry packs. These things are huge. Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings laundry packs have 4 times the Oxy cleaning power and 3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain Original Liquid.
Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings for next level laundry.
Maybe you know me. Heck, maybe you are me. I'm a double full-time dad, and in the last 7 years, I've relaxed 6 times. A dad by morning, engineer by day, dad by night, and all weekend. Am I a hero? No. Does my shower provide me with the best smelling break of my day? Absolutely, which is why my soap matters. Some folks say I earn my clean. Frankly, I agree.
Get out there and earn your clean with Duke Cannon.
It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains squeezed. If your business can't adapt in real time, you're in a world of hurt. You need total visibility, from global shipments to tariff impacts to real-time cash flow. That's NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. Trusted by over 41,000 businesses, NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for many reasons. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one suite. You have one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. And with AI embedded throughout, you can automate a lot of those everyday tasks. NetSuite helps you know what's stuck, what's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook Navigating Global Trade: 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/special. That's netsuite.com/special.
And Michelle are unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings at 6 on 1050 ESPN.
You're listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center all night, presented by Progressive.
LeBron James will play his record 23rd NBA season starting in the fall.
LeBron James is evaluating how he wants to finish his career.
This is the first time in LeBron James' career where he is not the center of the universe for a franchise.
Lakers keep LeBron, but To keep him happy, they probably needed a center. Wednesday, they come to terms with DeAndre Ayton. ESPN front office insider Bobby Marks.
Yeah, I mean, considering where they were about 10 hours ago, it's certainly an improvement here. I mean, we had Jared Vanderbilt as their starting center, and no offense to Jared Vanderbilt, but he's better served coming off the bench. Ayton was the best available center that was left in the free agent market, certainly coming off that buyout here. I think 82% of his shots are field goal percentage at the rim last year. I think the one concern for me is not really a paint presence as far as blocking shots, less than one last year in Portland here, but certainly fills a need, something that Lakers needed. There's still some work to do, especially for that bench. They need some perimeter shooting, but it's a good start for an offseason that started off a little bit slow here.
Lakers getting a center. Knicks getting a coach. Mike Brown is who they land on after firing Tom Thibodeau. Frank Isola from SiriusXM on ESPN Radio.
We know that they called Ime Udoka. We know that they called Jason Kidd. We know that they called Quinn Snyder and Billy Donovan and didn't get permission, but yet they could have interviewed Mark Jackson, Johnny Bryant, and they could have interviewed Michael Malone, but they decided not to. That one bewilders me. And guess what? It doesn't mean that Mike Brown's not going to get the job, but it's just interesting that they didn't go down that road. And Mike Brown, I will guarantee you this. He does not know what he's getting into in New York from a standpoint of just the structure in New York and how wacky things could be. I mean, there is a reason why the Knicks have mostly failed the last 25 years. But if he's able to navigate that and just coach and they kind of leave him alone, I think he could do a really good job.
Knicks landing on Mike Brown to replace the fired Tom Thibodeau. Back to the Diamond. Rays get past the A's on Wednesday. Tampa Bay with back-to-back games with 3 homers, including one that makes our top sounds with Nick DeLuca.
Sports Center all night.
Oh, my goodness. Check it out on Sports Center tonight.
Today's top sound.
How good is that? Are you ready to take?
Number 5.
All right, Jay, starting Tampa Rays and A's. Tampa trying to get on the board in the second. Jake Mangum made it all the way around the bases on 620 WDAE.
Mangum swings and pops one up straightaway center field. Hit well. Clark ranging back to the wall. Jumps up and it's off the top of the wall. In play, Mangum going to third base. Williams is going to wave him home. The A's missed the relay man, and it's an inside the park home run for Jake Mangum. The Rays' first hit and the first run. It's 2-1 A's.
Number 4.
In Queens, Mets and Brewers, all Milwaukee in Game 1, and Joey Ortiz got them all with one swing on 620 WTMJ.
3-1. And a fly ball down the left field line. Back at the track, it is gone! Joey Ortiz! Big fly for a grand slam in New York. And the Brewers lead it 6-2. First career grand slam for Joey.
Number 3.
In Boston, Reds and Red Sox, Cincy trailing until Christian Encarnacion Strand's grand swing on 700 WLW.
The 2-2. Swing, and this ball is crushed. High, very deep, and long gone out of Fenway Park over the monster in left center. The first career grand slam for Christian Encarnacion Strand has given the Reds a 4-3 lead at Fenway.
Number 2.
In D.C., Nats and Tigers, Washington had the bats working all night. Jacob Young getting it done with the glove, too, on the Nationals radio network.
Fastball driven in the air to deep center field. Back goes Jacob Young to the wall. He climbs the wall, and he caught it. Oh, my goodness. He robbed him of a home run. Do you believe it? Jacob Young with a spectacular catch, climbed the wall, and robbed Green of a home run. He brought it back.
Number 1.
And JR, top sound of the night from L.A. Clayton Kershaw carving out another milestone, reaching 3,000 strikeouts on AM 570 L.A. Sports.
Better than 50,000 on their feet at Dodger Stadium. 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. There it is. He got him with a slider. Strikeout number 3,000 for Clayton Kershaw. History at Dodger Stadium.
On his 100th pitch of the night, he becomes the 20th player to reach 3,000 strikeouts for his career. And it comes in a win over the White Sox on a night that was ended with a walk-off hit for his teammate, Freddie Freeman, who got to witness 3,000.
Freddie, when it came to the countdown to 3,000 for Clayton Kershaw, you, after every single start this year, you reminded him where he was at. He only had to do 3 today. How special was it watching him achieve that?
That was special. To be able to do it at home, 18 years he spent here in front of these fans, it's just special. So for him to get that one, and especially in the last one of his last at-bat, coming off the field, so these fans have given it to him, it's special.
Clayton Kershaw, 4th lefty to reach 3,000 strikeouts. That's going to do it for SportsCenter All Night. I'm Jay Reynolds. It's Thursday, July 3rd, birthday of Tom Cruise. Maverick turned 63 today. Chris Canty, Freddie Coleman up next on Sportsmanlike, ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Thursday, as NBA free agency rolls on, I'll tell you the one team whose plan still has me scratching my head. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
Is Joe and Q.
That's how LeBron has to approach it. Every single year he plays has to be about winning a championship. In year 23, yeah, he's not worried about building for the future, but the Lakers as an organization, they do have the responsibility to set this team up for success long term, and they made that move for Luka. Clearly it wasn't just a one-year rental, but how do you keep both sides happy? It's very difficult to win now and prepare for the future.
Joe and Q, weekdays at noon on 1050 ESPN, New York.
It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains squeezed. If your business can't adapt in real time, you're in a world of hurt. You need total visibility, from global shipments to tariff impacts to real-time cash flow. That's NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. Trusted by over 41,000 businesses, NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for many reasons. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one suite. You have one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. And with AI embedded throughout, you can automate a lot of those everyday tasks. NetSuite helps you know what's stuck, what's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook Navigating Global Trade: 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/special. That's netsuite.com/special.
Don't fight insurance companies alone. Insurance companies have their claims adjusters and their lawyers trained to tell you no and to give you less. At Palace Law, our trained staff and team of trial lawyers turn no into yes and less into more. For 30 years, our only duty is to hold insurance companies accountable and to get you every last dollar you're entitled. Fighting for the injured on the job and off the job for 30 years. PalaceLaw.com.
World Series 1050 ESPN is your home for Major League Baseball. WEPN, New York, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty and Michelle.
Breaking NBA news, the Knicks are expected to hire 2-time NBA Coach of the Year and 4-time NBA champion as an assistant, Mike Brown.
They're getting somebody where all the laughing is stopping. They got a quality head coach who's been through all the battles and is going to walk in and command respect.
Well, I respect the hell out of Mike Brown. I will honestly tell you it lacks sizzle, but certainly not credentials.
I don't think Mike Brown lasts 2 years in this job. If they don't reach the NBA Finals, he is gone within 2 years.
Before we get to your 3-day weekend known as July 4th, you got a little Chris Canty over there, Freddie Coleman in for Evan Cohen and Michelle Smallman over here. You put us together. It is Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Don't forget to catch up with us on ESPNU. Happy July 4th Eve, Brother Canty. How you doing on this July 3rd, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. Got all of the big stuff taken care of. The wife and I got friends coming in town, so you know there's a whole host of honeydews that I had to get to. But I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at right now. It's kind of like game planning before the Super Bowl. It's like you want to make sure you do your install well before it's time to kick off for the game. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Finishing up the install, not quite to the game day yet, but I'm excited about where we're at. So I feel pretty good about our game plan to conquer the 4th of July.
Well, I don't worry about game plans with you because I know they're going to be very detailed. They're very oriented in terms of making sure that if a plan B has to happen, we are going to take care of that. But in terms of, you brought this up right before the show got started, in terms of ranking holidays when it comes to 4th of July, and it can be very sticky depending on what part of America you're at when you're ranking holidays involving 4th of July. Oh, yeah, I said it so, as far as that goes. So if I'd like to, well, hey, you started. I'm just finishing up on it as far as that goes. So in terms of ranking holidays, where would you rank 4th of July, no matter what kind of America you live in?
I'm embarrassed, Freddie C, because it feels like what I'm about to say is un-American when I'm power ranking the best American holidays.
All right.
But to me, it's hard to be number one if it's not football season. So 4th of July is not number one. It's not even number two. I got the 4th of July checking in third on
number
my
3
American holidays power ranking. So I got the 4th of July third.
All right. What's
All
number
right,
two?
So number one. Oh, number two?
Yeah, number 2. Let's
Christmas.
Go. Okay.
Christmas.
All right.
This is the Christmas season, joyous occasion, gift giving, all of the things. Everybody's excited about Christmas. The NFL got in on the act with the Christmas Day games. We got a full slate of NBA games. We even joke about it and saying that the NBA doesn't start until Christmas Day.
Fair.
So it's a great sports holiday.
Right.
Everybody's off. Everybody's in a mood. People want to, give gifts and be cheerful, be joyous. So I love the vibes around Christmas.
Okay.
Number one is Thanksgiving.
Number one.
Yeah, that's my favorite holiday.
Number one.
That's my favorite holiday.
Super Bowl of holidays. There's no pressure when it comes to gift giving, so you don't have to worry about whether or not you got the right thing for your significant other, for your friends and family. You got food, you got football. You lounge around. It's socially acceptable to take several naps on Thanksgiving Day. In any holiday that embraces naps, I'm all for it.
Sure.
So Thanksgiving is the number one holiday. So if I'm power ranking them 1 through 5, Thanksgiving number 1, we got Christmas number 2, 4th of July 3, New Year's Day 4, Memorial Day 5.
Yes, with me, I guess I put Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Independence Day kind of in the same category because you're celebrating what makes this country great and sometimes what makes this country not so great involving that because it's going to be warts and all, but always give love to the veterans out there for their service. So I put kind of July 4th, Memorial Day, Veterans Day kind of in that same category, but I'm with you on Thanksgiving Day because nothing says holiday where if you don't want to do anything other than eat and sleep and watch football, what's better than that? And you can extend that over the whole weekend on the day after Thanksgiving or the Thanksgiving weekend involving Saturday and Sunday involving football and leftovers and food and just completely lounging around if you want to. So I'm with you on Thanksgiving, brother. I'm with you on that power ranking.
Yeah, I challenge anybody to Thanksgiving not being the number one American holiday.
Sure. So we're not going to have that challenge. We're going to say that is significant. That is going to be lock, stock, and barrel.
We're not throwing out the number for that one?
No, we're not throwing out the number for that one. This is not the day for everybody to have their own Independence Day against your power rankings.
Well,
we're not doing that.
Here's the thing that we are going to do, Freddie C. It's become an unsportsmanlike tradition. The Canty PSA before the 4th of July. The do's and don'ts for the 4th of July.
Yes.
So that will be coming up a little bit later on in this hour. We got to throw that out there because that is appointment radio, can't miss radio, however you want to frame it. The Canty PSA going into the 4th of July is one of those things that you got to lock in for.
No doubt about it. That's 40 minutes away here on Unsportsmanlike at ESPN Radio, the ESPN app. He is Chris Canty. I'm Freddie Coleman. Don't forget Unsportsmanlike presented by Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more. Get all you need at Progressive.com. So is it an Independence Day regarding New York Knicks fans like Freddie Coleman or Nuno, the producer of this program, now that Mike Brown is getting a second interview? And according to Mark Jones, ESPN, NBA, football, baseball analyst, he also is the play-by-play voice of the Sacramento Kings, he said that Mike Brown nailed the interview. They said they had never seen somebody so detailed and oriented in terms of making sure that this is what they were going to expect from him being the Knicks coach, and he wound up getting the job being the New York Knicks head coach, replacing Tom Thibodeau. And believe me, Brian Windhorst, ESPN NBA insider on NBA Today, he says, do not underestimate this hire that the Knicks have made in Mike Brown.
So he's got one of the most established resumes of any coach in the profession right now. He coached underneath Greg Popovich, underneath Rick Carlisle, underneath Steve Kerr. Was a head coach in a number of different teams, but Coach LeBron, Coach Kobe, has coached the #1 defense in the league, has coached the #1 offense in the league, which is what he did 2 years ago when he won his second Coach of the Year crown with the Kings, where he helped the Kings break their 16-year drought of playoffs, where he had the #1 offense. So he has done a lot of different things over his career. He brings a wealth of experience. He's evolved a lot over the last 20 years. He got hired 20 years ago this month, I guess last month now, 20 years ago in June, to be his head coach for the first time. He's a lot different coach now than he was then. I see people comparing him. They think he's like Thibodeau because they're both defensive coaches. Yes, he's a defensive first coach, but he's very, very different, and his personality is very much more of a mosaic than people are giving him credit for.
Yeah, Mike Brown might be similar in terms of basketball philosophy to Tibbs, but in the approach, the overall messaging, I think that's where the two differ. And if you listen to everything that the Knicks organization has been subtly putting out there since they fired Tibbs, it's clear that they want somebody that's more collaborative, more amenable to the approach that the front office wants to take. The front office wants the opportunity to collaborate. They want to be involved. If it's the analytics aspect of it, if it's the rotation, staggering of minutes, the approach on the offensive end, the approach on the defensive end, it's clear that the front office wants to have more influence, wants to have more sway. And I'm not quite sure that Tibbs came around quick enough in order to be able to save his job. Now, what seems odd about it is that they gave Tibbs a contract extension and then they fire him a year later. In the same season where the man takes the team to the Final Four. That part about it just seems weird, and I'm not quite sure that there's anything that you can say that will square that circle. But when it comes to qualified head coaches to fill the vacancy, you'd be hard-pressed to do better than Mike Brown. You just look at the resume, 2-time Coach of the Year, coached 3 different places, 4 different stints. When you look at the winning percentage that he comes into this job with, it's better than the win percentage that Tom Thibodeau had when he took on the Knicks job 5 years ago. So I think in terms of what he's been able to do in the NBA, the places that he's been, the success that he's had, coaching a team to the NBA Finals, taking the Kings to the playoffs for the first time in a couple of decades, I think those things matter in terms of being able to sell the players in that locker room that you have answers in order to get them to break through the ceiling that has been the Indiana Pacers over the last couple of years and to get to an NBA Finals.
2 things based on what you just said. Number one, when it comes to the extension that they signed Tom Thibodeau to last year and they're going to just really pay him to go away, this is what happens when you have bleep you money. And James Dolan has bleep you money as owner of the New York Knicks and Madison Square Garden. You don't worry about striking that check and then saying, we can't keep that in the building. We'll just pay him to go away. That's what happens when you have bleep you money, and he's always had it. He has not been able to use it properly, in my opinion, but this is one of those instances where he said, we'll pay him to go away. We don't believe he's the coach that can help us win a championship for the first time since 1973 or get to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. That's number one. Number 2, no matter what you think about this hire, you better get this team, Mike Brown, to the NBA Finals because that's where those expectations should be. That's where those expectations are going to be. We had this discussion before the show got started, and a man who shall remain nameless, King Mixer, Pat Costello himself, said, well, wait a minute. What if they have a losing streak? What if this doesn't work next year? You worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. But that tomorrow for the New York Knicks, CC, better make sure they get to the NBA Finals. Period. End of story. You don't have to like the hire Mike Brown. You can like the hire Mike Brown, but if you're going to move on from Tom Thibodeau, a man that got your organization to 4 NBA playoff appearances in 5 years, got you to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years before losing to the Indiana Pacers for the second straight year in the playoffs. Whoever you hire, however you got about it, so be it. Here we are. But that tomorrow better be the New York Knicks better make the NBA Finals, because if they don't, I don't care what kind of covert operation that they have in New York, CC, they're going to have to answer for the fact that, man, you decided to move on from Tom Thibodeau, and you're worse than where you were with the new coach than you were the old coach you got rid of when it comes to Tom Thibodeau.
Oh, yeah, this is very much so a play-the-result scenario, and this is the highest of bars to clear for a first-year head coach because of what Tibbs has been able to do. And this is when the context around the situation matters. Before Tibbs got there, the Knicks hadn't won a playoff series in a decade. So I think that when you start talking about justifying moving on from him, I got to say this, Freddie C., and this is one of those situations where I don't mean to disparage Mike Brown, but if you were to tell me that Mike Brown was going to be the hire, I would have told the New York Knicks organization not to fire Tom Thibodeau. This, to me, does not feel like a clear and obvious upgrade over what you had in a head coach. And the chief complaint around Tibbs was the fact that he didn't play the guys on the bench, right? He played his starters heavy minutes throughout the regular season, and you got diminishing returns in the playoffs. The guys ran out of gas. Well, you solved that problem in the front office by being able to get more trusted guys on your bench, which is exactly what Leon Rose did early in free agency. Not sexy names, but he went out and got Jordan Clarkson.
Yep.
He got Yabusele, a backup center from the Philadelphia 76ers. You already returned your top 7 in terms of minutes from last year. So you added 2 more guys on your bench, veterans that are around early 30s veterans that you can trust in the games, in playoff games. You solved the problem that has plagued Tom Thibodeau throughout his entire career by getting him more trusted depth. So why did you fire him in the first place? That part makes no sense. Again, Mike Brown is a respected NBA coach, a tremendous resume, but it doesn't feel like a clear and obvious upgrade over what you had, and I'm just not quite sure that the reward is going to be worth the risk that they took in terms of upsetting the chemistry in that locker room, because they don't have the guy that they trusted to lead them in Tibbs.
I'll answer that real quickly, why this is the hire for the New York Knicks in terms of why they decided to do this. They lost trust in Tom Thibodeau. Whatever happened, however that happened.
Who lost trust in Tom Thibodeau?
Leon Rose and James Dolan.
I think the key is who lost trust.
Leon Rose and James Dolan.
It might be the front office. It might be some Johnny-come-latelys in terms of players that they added last offseason.
Absolutely.
But Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart did not lose trust in Tom Thibodeau.
No doubt. I'm not disagreeing with you on that one. But at the same point, it was the overall, what was the consensus? Is he the guy? And the overall majority vote seemed to be sliding to he's not the guy that we can trust in to win an NBA championship, because he's unwilling to be less than rigid when it comes to player development, when it comes to rotations, in terms of making adjustments, the entire 9 yards. The worst thing that happened to Tom Thibodeau was when Jalen Brunson got hurt last year versus the Los Angeles Lakers and that ankle injury, and then the ball was bebopping around, and that offensive efficiency was tremendous for the New York Knicks. They were able to stem the tide until Jalen Brunson got back. The minute he got back, it was pound the rock, pound the rock, pound the rock, and then that offense worked for a little bit, but not against the Pacers. To me, that's why I thought, Chris Canty, they lost trust in Tom Thibodeau when that happened in the regular season with Jalen Brunson saying, we can do this without him. Why can't we do this with him? Despite the fact he still got this team in the Eastern Conference Finals. I thought that's when they lost trust in Tom Thibodeau. Just my opinion. He's Chris Canty. I'm Freddie Coleman. Thanks for joining us here on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80, and ESPNU. And now we go for my team, the Chris Canty's team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Is the door to a LeBron James trade still open? Seriously. We'll try to answer that after CC gives you this from ESPN Bet.
Oh, yeah. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is the sports book for you, and they've got all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Just download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Now, you got to be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Saturday on ESPN Radio. The Subway Series takes center stage. Juan Soto and the New York Mets face Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees.
Aaron Judge has gone deep.
Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern with first pitch at 4:10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Progressive Insurance.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Freddie and Harry on 1050 ESPN.
Would I take Prime Rodgers over Prime Patrick Mahomes? Maybe just a little bit. But I think Patrick Mahomes' prime will last a little bit longer than Aaron Rodgers' prime when it's all said and done. But the one thing he will not have over Patrick Mahomes, he's been less than prime in the playoffs against inferior quarterbacks when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry, weekdays at 3 on 1050 ESPN.
So I'm sitting here with my wonderful friend, Patrick Palace of Palace Law. I had no idea that if you are in an accident in one state and your traditional lawyer is in another, that you're supposed to get two different lawyers.
At Palace Law, we practice law in Oregon and Washington, and we're there to help everybody no matter what side of the river on and get those cases resolved.
So whether you were injured on the job, off the job, Palace Law has a full team of lawyers at your disposal in both states. PalaceLaw.com.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Do you need life insurance? Have you been putting it off because you think it's going to be expensive? Many people do, because they overestimate how much they think it'll cost. But the reality is, it's probably more affordable than you think. And the sooner you get it, the less expensive it'll be. Your State Farm agent can help you choose life insurance coverage options that fit your budget, so you can protect your family's future without breaking the bank. Contact your local State Farm agent or visit statefarm.com to get started today.
Weekdays from 10 to noon on 1050 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Big man DeAndre Ayton will sign a 2-year deal with Los Angeles.
Ayton was the best available center that was left in the free agent market.
The talent is there. I don't know if the effort is always there, but if he plays to his potential, I think he's the perfect kind of player next to Luka.
He is Chris Canty and Freddie Coleman. Thanks for joining us on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80, as well as tune in. Don't forget to check us out on ESPNU. This is Chris Canty's team, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Let's go!
That's what I want to know right now. We got into it about my Knicks and hiring Mike Brown, and we went the whole pig involving that. So now we move to the other pig on the other side of the country when it comes to Los Angeles Lakers and your basketball team. DeAndre Ayton, 2-year deal to the Lakers for your team, CC, means what to you?
Well, it means we got some help in the front court, and the Lakers were desert thirsty for more bigs, right? They had to find a way where you had serviceable guys that could protect the interior, that could give you a presence on the interior, on the offensive end, and DeAndre Ayton fits the bill. When you have Luka Doncic, when you have LeBron James, you need somebody that can rim run. You need somebody that's a lob threat. When you have your best three players being liabilities on the defensive end, you need somebody that can protect the paint. And DeAndre Ayton has the athleticism, he has the skill set to do all of those things. The only question is, can you rely on J.J. Redick and can you rely on LeBron James to bring out the best version of DeAndre Ayton? Because there's a reason why the number 1 overall pick in the Luka Doncic draft got dumped by his previous 2 teams. And so there's always been an element of this guy not playing up to his potential, not taking his job seriously. People can't get away from the snow day that he took in Portland and all of those things that came along with that. So I think from a reputation standpoint, in a sports character standpoint, he's still a huge question mark. But, Freddie C., there is no doubt in my mind the potential is there. And when you're a team like the Lakers that has to improve within the margins, being able to get a guy like DeAndre Ayton, a talent like DeAndre Ayton, after he's been waived by his previous team, I think that's a huge, huge get. Because we're living in a world now where we just saw Miles Turner get $27 million a year. So I think that when you start thinking about the economics of the sport, when you think about the value proposition relative to the talent, you'd be hard-pressed to do better than what the Lakers did with DeAndre Ayton. Now the only question is, are you going to get a motivated DeAndre Ayton? Because if you do, then all of a sudden we start to look at the Lakers a little bit differently.
Well, at least we would not have to worry about him taking snow days in Los Angeles. So that's off the table. We're good there. In terms of that quotient, we don't need to go near there involving DeAndre Ayton. It still begs the question when it comes to he's better than what they had at the center position. There's no doubt about that. He could shoot the ball backwards and be better than the guys that had last year shooting the ball towards the rim when it comes to Los Angeles involving DeAndre Ayton.
So disrespectful, Freddie, see?
Come on. You call it disrespectful. I prefer to call it creative truth because we know what we saw last year. Come on now. Chris Canty, this is your team. You saw those guys trying to play center last year. They literally had to bring Maxi Kleber off the G League scrap heap, apparently, and even he couldn't do anything because it wasn't fair to him to put him in that situation. But still the big question is, with that LeBron James guy, now that DeAndre Ayton is there, that should eliminate any kind of trade conversation. Or does it, according to Brian Windhorst, ESPN NBA insider, yesterday on First Take?
When the idea of a trade came up, I slammed the door on it and said, first off, LeBron wants to be a Laker. If he didn't want to be a Laker, he opted out. He has a no-trade clause. Over the last 3 days, I have unlocked the door. I wouldn't say that I'm opening the door. I would just say I've unlocked the door. The door I slammed and locked on Sunday, I'm not 100% sure. And that is because my conversations over the last 3 days have crystallized that the Lakers are essentially viewing LeBron as an expiring contract. And that may sound like a toss-off statement, but that's not insignificant. The Lakers and LeBron did not have substantive discussions about extending his contract, which every team LeBron's been on for 20-something years has wanted to have substantive conversations about extending his contract. And what happens to expiring contracts in the NBA? They're viewed as trade pieces.
Boy, that music was funky, number one, letting us know about LeBron James that the door is unlocked to a trade. I want to hear more of the music than Brian Windhorst as far as that goes, but that's just me on Planet Freddie. But you heard that, Chris Canty. You've had more than about a day to digest that, with the door still being unlocked to LeBron James to be traded. I don't know if I'm buying that, but then again, Brian Windhorst pretty dialed into conversations involving things like this and guys like this when LeBron James in the NBA.
Well, if you look at the timeline of the Lakers starting five, outside of LeBron James, everybody is 26 or 27 years old.
True.
Luka Doncic, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, and now DeAndre Ayton. So it does make some sense in terms of how the Lakers are playing it, viewing LeBron James as an expiring, knowing that they're going to have access to that $50 million slot after the season. It makes a ton of sense in terms of them being non-committal on his long-term future there, because if we're keeping it a buck, how many good years does LeBron James have left in the NBA? Like, I just don't know. Now, I'll never doubt the king because, you know, this is a guy that has defied father time. I mean, he's still playing at an all-NBA level into his 40s. But as we saw with Tom Brady in football, at some point, there is that cliff that every athlete falls off of. And you're just wondering when that's going to happen and if we started to see the beginning of that in that playoff series against the Minnesota Timberwolves in round 1. So I don't know what the best approach is, but I would say this. I understand why the Lakers don't want to commit a lot of resources into the future, knowing that at some point they're going to have to move on from LeBron James. At some point, they're going to have to lock into another co-star alongside Luka Doncic after that extension gets done. And I think that maintaining maximum flexibility is going to be key. The other thing that I will say is this. The Lakers are unwilling to part ways with that 2031 first-round pick. Right now, that's the only tradable first-round pick that they have. They don't want to move on from that. They don't want to mortgage their future for the here and now. And I don't blame Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office one bit for drawing that line in the sand. It's the right approach, even if that means foregoing the best chance, the best team possible that you could put around LeBron James to try to get him a championship in the twilight of his career.
I just wanted the Los Angeles Lakers want LeBron James to maybe do their dirty work, force his way out of Los Angeles this way. They don't have to be the bad guy where he can be the bad guy.
But here's the thing though. That slot, that $50 million is an asset for the Lakers.
Absolutely.
We all know. Having an expiring contract in the NBA, that's gold because you can create cap space. There are a lot of people that are going to want that, and then there are a lot of people that are going to want LeBron James. So if you're the Lakers and LeBron James wants out, you're only trading him under the circumstances that are most beneficial for you.
Okay.
That's it. So the bar is super high in terms of what the Lakers would be looking to get in return.
Freddie Coleman together on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80, and ESPNU. We give you another edition of Last Year Today. Last year, Chris Canty said the standard for LeBron James is always going to be a championship. That was then. Does he feel the same way about that now? He'll tell you that after he gives you this word from ZipRecruiter.
According to a recent ZipRecruiter survey, 76% of employers plan to expand headcount for 2025. If you're one of these employers, add ZipRecruiter's latest feature, Zip Intro, to your hiring plan. It does most of the work for you, so you save time. Just pick a time, and Zip Intro finds and schedules qualified candidates for you. You can even meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
SportsCenter will be traveling across the country. It's going to be all summer long as we bring you SportsCenter from 50 states in 50 days. A different state every day for 50 consecutive days. We will celebrate what it means to be a sports fan in every corner of America. And maybe we'll see you in your hometown and in your home state.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
SoFi Personal Loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi Personal Loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply, NMLS 696891.